Hello, I am so excited to talk about today's topic because you guys have been sharing with me some concerns about pricing. And this is a hot topic because I think we have a lot of stories around this. So, my question for you is, what do you do to grow your business that would grow your business, but you would also increase your prices? How is that possible? How could you increase prices and increase your business? That feels counterintuitive. Well, today I'm going to share with you not only how to do this, but how I have done this. Because if you are looking for business mistakes, look no further than this girl right here. I have done everything wrong so that you don't have to. By the way, I came out the other side successful, profitable, all the things. But I feel like you shouldn't have to go learn the mistakes that I learned. Why don't you just get them taught to you so that you don't actually have to make them? If you are new here, my name is Emily Hawkins. I am the founder and creator of the Leadership Operating System. I was in the corporate world for 15 years, managing people and processes and millions of dollars in budgets, and realized that I wanted to take those gifts and teach them to more people. And in the process of doing that, I actually grew my team in the corporate world, moved to my own business 6 years ago, and have been leading and loving my business ever since. And for the first time, I'm opening the doors to you so that you can see how to run a profitable business sustainably without working 14-hour days. And today we are going to jump right into the thing that, oh my gosh, I posted this a few days ago about pricing, and so many of you had so much angst around it that I felt like I needed to share my 4-step process with you of how to increase your prices to actually accelerate your business. So let's start with step 1. You can pick 2 of these. You can either be fast and cheap, fast, tons of quality. You can be cheap with quality. I don't know why you would want to do that. You can pick 2 of these, but you cannot pick all 3. So what I can tell you is over the years, I picked, actually like a myriad of these permutations. That means like different combinations of this. And I will tell you what happened in each of those. So when I first started my business, I picked fast and cheap. So I wanted to be the cost leader. I wanted to be the person that was beating all the prices because I thought I will have so much volume, right? That is exactly what happened. I was a team of 1 person and I burned out quicker than I can tell you. It was horrible. Now, adding team members would have been nice, except my prices were so low that I couldn't afford to hire anyone. So I was just burning out, which meant my business was about to just evaporate and go away. So I realized that I needed to change this behavior. And what I did was I went to a model where I wasn't doing one-to-one services. So I was doing one-to-one services and I was, oh my goodness, charging practically nothing. So what I did was I went one-to-many, where I had an online course teaching the same principles, but I was able to reach more people. But in my head, I wanted to be the cost leader yet again, and I thought, this works here. I can be really cheap and get more people and make a ton of money because I'll get so many people. And let me just tell you that did work for a period of time. The reason it stopped working was because of the business costs that I was incurring. So all of a sudden, oh my gosh, I'd hit the Holy Grail. I'd figured it out. I was able to charge very little, and give lifetime access and all of these special things to these people. And like I said, charge very little and serve many people at one time. But while I was doing that, the costs that I was incurring for my business started to rise. The systems and platforms I was using started to rise in costs because they were in demand. The advertising I was using, Facebook ads, was rising. Everything about what I just said to you is probably happening in your business. Costs will continuously rise. It's just how the world works, right? The question is, how are you going to respond to it? Are you going to remain fast and cheap and go broke? Or are you going to hang your hat on something different to go more quality? And I will tell you what changed the game for me, and this is incredibly embarrassing. This is a very embarrassing story. I was not willing to bite the bullet on this, but by using the fast and cheap model, one to many, when costs were low for all of that, I was able to hire 2 team members. In the process of doing that, one of them became the director of customer support. She would forward me emails from these clients, and they were vicious, as if these people were forgetting that an actual person was receiving these messages. And she said to me, if we keep our prices low, we will continue to get emails like this. And she was right. And the reason I changed my prices was not because I realized the value, the dollars and cents. It was because I realized that I valued my team member, and she was going to leave because of the way our customers were treating her. And I knew she was valuable. But I will tell you something interesting that happened is when you charge little for something, it is valued little. Think about anything that you would go buy right this second at Dollar Tree or Dollar General even, but Dollar Tree is better because like all the things are pretty much the same price. You don't value it very much, right? You're probably not going to take care of it. You're not going to make sure you put it in a special place. You're not going to cherish that thing because, well, it was $1. I know right now I think everything in there is like $1.08 or $1.12, but still, it was so cheap. It was disposable to you. And so the cheaper your prices are, the more your customers view it as disposable, something that they could get somewhere else, something that they don't value. And when I started upping my prices, the quality of clients that we attracted changed entirely. And it was amazing to me. I had this limiting belief, which we will talk about in a minute, that you have to charge a certain amount because I couldn't go up in pricing because people would say it was too expensive and they would not purchase. And you know what? That probably is true. But the people that valued it showed up in droves and outweighed that factor. In fact, I was able to up my prices 9 times what I was originally charging and increased how many customers I brought on. Because sometimes when you are charging very little, people don't see the value. And so there is that factor that if you are choosing cheap, you are really making people think that there is no quality. And that is an assumption I was not willing to make because I put so much value in quality. I was able to do fast and I was able to do quality, but my friends, it was not cheap. And that is okay. That is okay. And my director of support is still with me and clapping her hands loudly at the fact that we upped our prices. So the next thing I did was to understand the surprise and delight factor of my specific business. So what is your surprise and delight factor? Do you know what that is? Do you know what that is? So I think many of us think that in order to love our customers, we have to do something special, right? We have to give them tickets to Disney World, $500 gift cards to Amazon, just something that feels so big and expensive. What I will tell you is expensive does not always win. In fact, when you surprise and delight people, it's usually in the simplest forms. And so when you are able to surprise and delight your customers, they are willing to pay more. What? That seems odd. Well, let me give you a great example. Would you stay at this hotel? It looks kind of drab. It's actually in LA. This is a legit hotel, by the way. And what I will tell you about this hotel is it is a converted apartment building, like a 1950s apartment building. Not really, I mean, the rooms are clean and all of that, but there's nothing very special here. There's nothing special in this picture. What do you think this is ranked? This is ranked number 2 of all hotels in Los Angeles. What? Yes, number 2. It is between $300 and $400 a night. Why? Because they know what they aren't and they know what they are. So, would you stay here? No. At this picture, no, you would not. Except you are not aware of this. So this business has this out by the pool. If you pick up the phone, somebody comes out in butler coat and tails with white gloves, with a silver tray, carrying all different types of ice pops. It's a popsicle hotline that you can call. And this is unique. How much does this cost them? Practically nothing. And they also have magicians that come into their lobbies periodically, and it's LA, so these people want to do this anyway, right? They also offer, you can go to the front desk and ask for Cracker Jacks. They'll give them to you for free. Surprise and delight. Beautiful factors that make this hotel number 2 in LA for families, right? A family would love to go here because they understand how to surprise and delight their audiences. So what does this look like for you? Is this having a balloon guy in your lobby that might even work for, just a few bucks? Is this having a magician at your place? Is this offering coffee to people? Is it giving them something that they did not expect? I can tell you over the years that my customers have been surprised and delighted with the thoroughness to detail that I have offered them, the candid feedback I offer them, because I'm only successful if they are, right? I don't have a popsicle hotline, but man, that is just so cool. And it costs them practically nothing. So think of the ways that you are surprising and delighting your customers. Because when you surprise and delight people, they stick. They are loyal. They want to stay. They want to come back. Let me just tell you that if I am getting my oil changed, and I know that on Wednesdays, when it's Ladies' Day, I'm making this story up, you are going to have a balloon man and free ice cream in your lobby, I'm going there even if you are 10 to 20% higher in cost. Because I know that my kid will be taken care of. See what I'm saying? That's just one example. Now, the next thing I want to teach you is a little math. We're going to subtract emotion from the situation. Let's take a deep breath there. I think we all can get super emotional about money. You grew up a certain way. You grew up hearing stories about money. All of us did. Every single one of us did. The stories ranged from people who are wealthy or successful. Wealthy people are abundant and give back to their communities. Wealthy people are amazing human beings. Or maybe wealthy people are greedy. Having a lot of money is a sin. Having money means you're not giving enough to your community. We should always give everything we earn to others and put ourselves last. Whatever your story, it is just that. It is not real. It is a story. What I think is so beautiful is that we, as adults, get to choose our money story. And I can tell you my money story for my business is I get, with the money from my business, I get to provide my 2 dyslexic children with tutoring twice a week, every month. I get to provide groceries for my family. I get to support 2 working mothers. I get the opportunity to show other businesses what's possible, but in doing so, I do it by living an abundant life and charging what my services are worth. My 15 years in the corporate world, my MBA in global business, all of that is worth something. And I also have a certification from the Robbins Madonna's organization in life coaching. That is all worth something to me. My employees are worth something, and giving back to my community is key. So when I'm abundant, everyone around me is more abundant. I feel very strongly about small businesses because when a small business raises its prices, they raise the value of their community, not just the people that own that business. In fact, less so, right? They are raising the value of everyone that works there. Because when you raise your prices, just like in my case, you raise the respect in the community. But you also raise your ability to invest in that community, to share those with your local schools, your local charities. Go into the freaking grocery store and being able to buy groceries. You are helping families. So let's remove the emotion that by raising our prices, we are the devil, that something is wrong with us, that we are greedy. Because I know right now in this group, not a single one of you is operating from that place. None of you are greedy. In fact, that's why your prices are too low, because you think that raising your prices means you're greedy, when in reality, raising your prices means you have the opportunity to love your community at a deeper, more meaningful level. Okay? So subtract that emotion. Subtract the emotion that your customers will hate you, because they won't. I have another example of this that I wanted to share that I think is incredibly important to mention. So whether I've liked it or not, I can't keep my mouth shut when I see people not loving themselves enough and not valuing themselves. Because when your prices are low, it is saying, I am not of value. I am not worth your investment. That's how I feel. So I'm going to go back in time to when my daughter was 6 and we started tutoring for her dyslexia. She could barely read. We're supposed to be able to read at that time. Barely could read. And we had one of the most amazing tutors that I have ever seen. She gave my daughter confidence. She was able to read words for the first time. I remember driving to tutoring one day and she could actually read road signs. It's a very big deal in our house. And this woman said to me, well, I don't know what to do because I really need to raise my rates, but I'm not sure how much, and I'm afraid people will leave. And so I said, oh, okay, first and foremost, working with you has changed my child's life. There's no amount of money that I wouldn't pay for that. So just know that everyone that you serve loves you and sees the value in you. And I had actually found her from an agency, and the agency was taking a cut of her pay. And I actually helped her find new clients because I'm very vocal in the dyslexic community. And I said, if you want to leave that place and actually make more money, then you can leave. And she's like, oh, I'll charge. It was like $45 an hour. I'll charge $45 because that's what I was making with the agency. And so I thought, well, that doesn't totally make sense, but okay, I'll find you people if that's what it takes. So I filled her up, and then she realized very quickly, this isn't really quite enough money. And so I said, well, that agency was charging me $60. So why don't you charge $60 for your services? And she said, oh, do you think people will pay that? And I said, in a heartbeat, they will. And she said, okay, well, I'm gonna start telling families, but I'm not gonna charge you. And I was like, okay, that's fine. I did not agree with that whatsoever. But I'm a big agree in your face and do what I want to do in the background. So first month, she said, nobody said anything. They were all excited for me. They loved the fact that they had upped the prices because they knew that I was taking fewer students and all of this. And they value what I do. All of them value my time. Of course they do. And she said, why are you paying me $60 an hour? And I said, because I value you at $60 an hour. I'm not looking for a discount. I'm looking for an investment in my child. And this woman is absolutely amazing. She has since retired. We have a different tutor. But I still pay $60 an hour for a tutor because it's worth it. The investment is there for me. So I just want you to know that you might have emotion around it and somebody else might have emotion around it. But this is a business you're running and you need to understand that you are supporting your community. So let's talk about what we want to add. We want to add some logic to this. So in the instance with the tutor and your instance, I do not want you to leave this call and go change all your pricing. Overnight, you are now 10% higher, 20% higher. Whatever you've been holding back, you're just going to go raise the price. So first and foremost, like, what's with the 10% or 20%? Where did that come from? I recommend first adding logic in terms of what is pricing in your market. So I would check out competitor pricing. This is also known as benchmarking. So anyone that you consider a competitor, I would try to find out what their pricing is so that you know what the market bears. There's a good chance that you are going to be way off. There was this woman that I followed on LinkedIn for the longest time that also did job seeking services. And I couldn't find her pricing or anywhere. And a client of mine actually came to me and told me what this woman was charging and how my product was far superior. This woman was charging 10 times what I was charging. And this is when I had upped my price by 10 times. So, oh my gosh, I was still low tier in the marketplace, being a huge cost-effective benefit for people. And so if you're worried about your pricing, you might be shocked to know that people don't always go with the lowest cost. Usually they go kind of mid-range because they know the difference between quality and not, right? The Dollar Tree versus the Neiman Marcus, right? There's like a big difference there. And I'm not going to shop Neiman Marcus, but maybe not Dollar Tree if it's something I want for a long time. I'm probably going to be somewhere right in the middle where I know I'm going to get value and I'm going to get quality that I want, but it doesn't have to be like huge craftsmanship type thing. So think of that. Look at the benchmarks in your industry, in your local, if you're a local business, in your local market. If you are an online business, look at the online pricing. What can you offer that's a little different from that? Have you performed a time study? So this is where a lot of businesses go wrong. I see it on Etsy a lot. None of you run Etsy stores, but Etsy stores, the ones that are like fly-by-nights, this is what happens. They open an Etsy store and they're making quilts or purses. A purse is a good example. They make purses for a living, right? And they're beautiful purses. And it's Etsy, right? They're all handcrafted. So they're selling the purses for, I don't know, $20. Well, this purse that this person is selling for $20, each purse takes 72 hours to make. Working hours, person hours, man hours, person hours to make. 72 hours. That is 3 days of time, and nobody is working 72 complete hours, right? 72 working hours is probably almost 2 weeks, right? It's almost 2 weeks worth of work on one purse, $20. So if this person sells a purse a week, they're making $20, and technically they're making like $10 because it takes them 2 weeks to make a purse. That's not a livable wage in the United States. So if you look at the time study of how long it takes to make, and you put logic behind that pricing, and you say, wow, even if I made at $5 an hour, 5 times 72, that is a better price than $20, right? So I want you to think about how long you're spending with your clients, how long your service is taking. If it's something you're doing with the customer, if it's something you're doing for the customer, there is time involved. And if you want to make a livable wage, $100 an hour, $200 an hour, whatever that is, I want you to think about baking all that in. So you work with a client and it happens to be a 6-hour engagement. Well, if you want to make $100 an hour, that's a $600 thing. Now, do you want to make $100? What does that $100 actually represent? And that is my next point, which is your pricing has to bake in your overhead. Let's break down what overhead is. Overhead is every system you use. It's every spreadsheet you use. It's everything you use to run your business. Do you have a bookkeeper? Do you have an accountant? Do you pay taxes? Because that really sucks, but we all have to do it. Do you use an online system, a cart of some kind, Shopify? I use Kajabi. There's a service fee, right? Nobody does this stuff for free, nor should they. All of that costs money. So I know on an annual basis, if I shut my doors right now and just paid for the things that run the business and didn't actually actively sell to people, I would be incurring costs. I know what those annual costs are, by the way. And so I also know that I have 2 employees. What do I want to pay these people? How do I want to pay them? How much is that from an annual basis, monthly basis? What does that look like? So I've got to bake all that into my pricing because it's part of doing business. I do not use these services just to use them. I use them so that I can sell and service to my clients. So when you are looking at your pricing, it's not just $100 an hour. It's, wow, I've got all of these expenses for the year. And by the way, I like groceries and electricity, so I would like to get a paycheck. So let's bake all of that in, and a mortgage and all the things. And then let me see how many clients I want, and let me see what my pricing should be. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, communicating it. I don't want you to go to your customer and say, man, I got groceries, I got bills. I don't know if you've seen my house, but I have a mortgage and I need to pay my mortgage. That is not what I mean. That is not the logic I want you to communicate. Of course you have these things. Most people do. That does not actually dictate your cost to your client. What I would rather you do is use that Etsy example and say, actually, what I do is a 72-hour process where I am personally handcrafting this purse for you. Wow. Ooh, I'm going to pay more now that I know it's handcrafted over a 72-hour period, which is over 2 weeks, right? Or we procure all of our parts for, from this place. We buy it from a wholesaler, but the wholesaler costs have gone up this year. And we really put a premium on the craftsmanship of the work we have. And so we made sure that we employ the very best in the business. So in doing that and ensuring that you get quality work, we are going to be upping our prices by 10%, 5%, 2%, 12%. You are giving your customers logic. I don't know anyone right now that wouldn't understand that. Of course, prices are going up. And it's completely okay to pass some of that on to your customers because you are absorbing the majority of it, right? Now, when I talk about communicating it, one thing I want to make abundantly clear is we need a timeline here. I do not want, like I said at the beginning of this, for you to jump on the bandwagon and go up your prices by 25% or whatever you felt comfortable after we talked through this. What I would rather you do is provide a timeline. So you can put this on your doors of your brick and mortar business. You can send mailers, you can send emails, but I want you to phase this pricing in. Due to economic changes in, goods and services and all the things, we will be on, let's see, it's February now, March 15th, we will be moving our prices up 15%. If you would like to take advantage of our current pricing, come in for the next month and get those prices before we phase into this new pricing. You're giving them time to ask you questions. Get the old pricing. I did this actually for a course, one of my courses. I sent an email out and it actually upped my business because people were like, oh, the price is about to go up. Let me go grab that thing before prices go up. Okay, thank you. Awesome. They like the fact that you are telling them ahead of time. It also gives them a chance to shop around and do the research that you most likely have already done, right? So that they're saying, wow, that person, that product, that place really has my back in telling me ahead of time. And I was able to go shop around and see that their prices are still a lot lower than other places, or their prices are on par with other places, but I've always gone here and I trust these people. And the fact that they're giving me a heads up that this pricing is going to change makes me trust them even more. And they gave me a reason for the change. Good stuff, right? Good stuff. Well, this is stuff that we do inside of the Leadership Operating System. We would love to have you inside this program where it's not just about leveraging your time and your team, also your costs, so that you can scale at a level and become profitable at a level that maybe you never thought possible. And the term scaling, I think, scares people, but scaling comes in many forms. And I say we because inside this program, I actually open the doors to my personal business. You get access to everything that we do, how we work, and you even get trained and access to my employees. I do not practice what I preach by just telling you about it. I want to show you and I want you to meet these people because it's important to me that just like your pricing, that you run your business confidently, profitably, and sustainably. Now, if you do have some questions, I would love if you would throw them in the chat. If you happen to have a question, throw it over there. I know a question that I saw yesterday from someone was, if I up my prices, people will leave. And what I will tell you is maybe that's true. But what I will also tell you is maybe the right customers will leave. Every customer that darkens your door is not great. Can we just admit this for a second? Some people are high maintenance. Some people want to spend $1 and they want $100 worth of your time, energy, resources, right? They are intense. Is that the kind of customer you want? Because it's not the kind of customer I want. And I can tell you, I already let go of some of those, right? I let go of those customers. And by doing so, I welcomed in a level of customer that I am so proud to serve that I would go to the ends of the earth for because they value me like I value them. It's a super love fest and I just love it. So yeah, I think some customers will leave and it will be the right ones that need to leave. The ones that are probably dragging your business down in the first place. So I wanted to answer that question. Did anyone else have any questions? All right. Well, I will let you go. I hope that you have a wonderful day and we will talk soon.